Good day. You are welcome to Health and Fit Clinic. Take note, the best enjoyment is healthy life. You have all the monies, you have all the houses, you have all the cars, and you are not healthy, you are not enjoying this life. So, best enjoyment is healthy life. Our topic of discussion today is wound. Why wounds don't heal. In case you know anyone that is having a wound that is taking long, it's not healing, you may invite the person to watch this episode or sit down and listen. But let us clear some myth to start with. What is a wound? A wound is a break or a breach of a system that is built to continue. So breaching it means that you have caused a wound. So when you have a cut on your hand or any part of the body or a growth that comes out that breaks the stretch of a structure, is said to be a wound. What can cause a wound? It can be accident, it can be trauma, it can be injury that can cause the wound. But apart from that, you must also realize that in our society, we begin to have other meanings to wound by believing that there's spiritual cause of wound. In case you are one of them, there's no spiritual causes of wound. Because once you believe there's a spiritual cause of wound, you go for spiritual wound healing. And that's when you believe that somebody is having a wound and spiritually the wound is not healing. Take note, this is Health and Fit Clinic, where you will understand problem that is spiritual to be handled spiritually, while problems that are medical should be handled medically. Do not mix them together. However, I'm aware 3 major problems worse than disease fight us in this country: ignorance, poverty, and our cultural beliefs are major diseases that affect us from even knowing what is right. On that note, what are the causes of wound delayed healing? 10 of them. Sit back and get it right. Wound healing, or why your wound failed to heal, or why your wound is not healing on time, is slow. Number 1 reason is poor nutrition. When the amount of food you take in is below your age, the quality of food you consume does not contain the quality nutrients and minerals. In case of such person growing and develop a wound, the wound will be slow to heal. Because the food you eat in provide nutrients and minerals. And when blood flows to where the wound is, the blood brings in that minerals, vitamins, and nutrients that will make the wound location to heal. So the proteins, antioxidants like vitamin C, and the likely things you put in those food are the one that flows in the blood that makes the wound to heal. So if you are living on a very poor diet and you have a wound, it will not heal on time. Number 2, infection. When we say infection, it might be an infection that exists in your body before you develop a wound, or you had a wound and the wound get infected. One wound where infection means that bacteria, microorganisms has entered into the wound or that's running into the system, will go to the face of that wound, form another film, a kind of a layer that will not allow the wound to close itself, producing what is called metalloprotease that will break down those ones that are healing, because the bacteria itself want to live and enjoy its life there. So in case you're not aware, infection will delay your wound to heal over time, and that's a major problem we find in our society. Our society is very dirty and our hygiene level is very poor. So when you develop a wound and you're taking care of it wrongly, not appropriately, that wound will not heal on time, and you might be thinking it's spiritual, it's medical. Number 3, one other major problem that causes delayed wound healing is diabetes. In case you do not know, most often time when you have a wound, you're not aware you have diabetes. And in fact, sometimes it is when you had a wound on account of a new shoe that gives you a blister on your leg and you're making the effort to get it healed and it's not healing on time. And then someone will ask you after a long hour, or long days and months, have you done your blood sugar? And they say, no, I cannot be diabetes now. My mother is not diabetes, but I don't know much of my father. In case you're not aware, diabetes will not allow your wound to heal. Why? Immediately you develop a wound on diabetes, it means that the area of the wound is not receiving enough blood. Don't forget, diabetes block all those arteries and veins in our hand and our leg. Diabetes block them from receiving enough blood. So what that means is that sugar in your body has stayed in those arteries and veins in your leg and your hand. The more sugar stays there because you have diabetes, you will first of all develop what is called neuropathy. Neuropathy means that you don't even feel pain, and that's why diabetes can step on iron and you will not know that it's paining you. Some people cut their nails onto the blood, they will not know it's paining them, and that is a major problem that will lead to wound not healing. And damages of nerves that makes you not to feel the pain will worsen the wound. So you have a wound that has loaded of sugar on its area. So what will happen to that wound? More bacteria will come and feed on the sugar, and that wound will never heal. So no matter what you do, no matter the spiritual deliverance, no, until diabetes is well controlled, well managed, and then the wound will heal appropriately. Number 4, tuberculosis. In case you know anyone that's having TB, pray that person did not develop a wound. If it develops a wound in any part of the body, tuberculosis is a respiratory disease. It's a disease of our chest. That means one particular mycobacteria is staying in your chest and you keep coughing. Nowadays, when you cough more than 2 weeks and you're running fever at night or your appetite is going down, that cough is becoming worrisome. Please go and check yourself for TB. TB is very common in our society today. And if you develop a wound in any part of the body, why is confirmed you have TB? That wound may not heal on time until the TB is properly treated. Number 5, if your genotype is SS or SC genotype, this is what you call a sickler. In case you have such genotype, try not to develop a wound because your peripheral vessels, that means those arteries and veins on the extreme part, are very tiny, and you have a blood system that cannot go inside them easily. So they have problem of moving inside the arteries and veins. So when they get to tiny arteries and veins, they don't move very well. And so if you develop a wound at that location, the wound will not heal. And that's a lot of our sicklers go through this and they believe it's spiritual. It is not spiritual at all. Number 6, HIV. HIV depresses immunity. Your immune cell goes down. So once you develop a wound, the immune cells that are supposed to provide support to the wound to heal are down. And then what is called opportunistic infection comes in, including fungal infection. Because now the immunity is down, so many infections that comes your way before that your body takes care of, your body cannot take care of them. And so they have the opportunity to stay on the wound and the wound will not heal. So in all of this, how do you come to know that you have problem with healing? It's only when you are screened further. Number 7, this will blow your mind. Drug. There's some medicine you take, and particularly steroid drug that contains steroids. I can't explain more than this. If you are on those drugs that contain steroids, make sure you do not develop a wound. In fact, if you develop a wound, steroids are anti-inflammatory, which is supposed to help a wound to heal. When you take steroids, it reduces pain. It doesn't make you to feel some impact. Now, it in turns make wound not to heal because it also depresses immunity. It can make you to bleed for long, not stopping, and it will delay wound that is supposed to heal on time. Example of some of this drug I will mention for the purpose of you that are looking at me. 1, blood thinners. Aspirin is a very common drug that we use either for children and for those that have diabetes and for those that have hypertension. But some people also take it for pain. Do not take it too much. It can cause you not getting wound to heal on time. Number 2, prednisolone. This is a drug that is common, tiny drug that does tremendous job. It's a steroid drug that will not allow your wound to heal on time. That is very, very painful. We see that in our society today. And number 8, peripheral vascular disease. Peripheral vascular disease means you are engaging in one lifestyle that destroys the vessels on your skin, under the skin, in the muscle. All the arteries and veins that are there have been destroyed, have been damaged. What causes this? Smokers. You are a smoker. You are at risk. Pray you don't develop a wound to not heal on time. Bleachers. You bleach. Pray you don't develop a wound to not heal on time. Workers in the sun. If you work in the sun and the sun has damaged your skin, pray you don't have a wound to not heal. Fire incident. If fire has burned your skin before, you will realize that it doesn't heal on time because the arteries and veins there have been damaged. So these are causes of poor wound healing or delayed wound healing that will mean as if somebody somewhere is witchcrafting your wound. No witchcraft to your wound. It is you yourself that do not understand. Number 9, venous ulcer disease. Venous ulcer disease means that, you see, all these arteries and veins are responsible to provide oxygen, food, nutrients, minerals to wound area. If the wound you develop is on vein, not on arteries, there are two different things. There's artery. Artery bring about blood that contains oxygen. Veins carries blood that do not have oxygen. So if the wound you develop is on the vein, whereby the blood that's passing through do not have oxygen, that wound will stay long before it heals, except we'll do something tremendous for you. This happens to a lot of people that have accidents in vehicle with glasses shattering their leg or their foot or hands, and then some of the vessels are damaged, and particularly veins were damaged. That wound will not heal until a doctor will assess that and treat you appropriately. You will understand better when you visit a professional to assess your wound and then tell you one other factor that is responsible to why your wound is not healing. Stop going for spiritual deliverance when obviously you need a medical attention. And that is why we tell you that the best enjoyment is a healthy life. Those people that carry wound for more than 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, means that something is definitely wrong in your body that's responsible to why the wound is not healing. If you do the right thing, you visit the right places, your wound will heal. Follow this lecture and then get yourself better. Wound is further delayed. Your wound won't heal if you have cancer. That's number 10. If you have cancer of any part of the body and you develop a wound in the process, the cancer will not allow the wound to heal. So in case you know anybody that have breast lump, advise such a lady to remove the lump on time. If that lumps become transformed to cancer, cancer of the breast can further goes on to bring out a wound. If a wound appears on that breast, take note, you are now at the stage 3, stage 4 to stage 5 of breast cancer. The unfortunate thing, like I said, people develop a wound on the breast and going for dressing. If it is a wound like your baby bites you or something injures you, it will heal. But if it is a wound that is secondary to cancer, it will never heal, except the cancer is treated. It can be cancer of any part of the body. Once a wound appears, it automatically means it will not heal, except the cancer is treated. So this also gives opportunity to go for medical checkup and screen yourself, especially those of us at the age of 40 and above. Once you are above that age, is a classical age of determinant for you to check further if I do not have any cancer running or ongoing or incubating in my body. So most of the time, people develop wound and they have one cancer in that area or in another part of the body. They are not aware that the cancer is responsible for that, why the wound has refused to heal. And they go for spiritual and eventually die on account of ignorance. Will you rather do the right thing? Do the right thing to know your status, your wound will heal as fast as possible. Thank you.